Aladdin and When They See Us are at the top of our list this week, and Gail Edmonds, City Press film critic, is here once again to discuss these two. Gail, very good morning, but I want to start first with When They See Us, which is a Netflix. It's actually not a movie, but it's a miniseries on Netflix. It's a four-part miniseries. I think let's just start with the trailer for When They See Us first.
Who you in the park with?
I don't know names. I just got lost.
Where did you see the lady?
One lady.
The female jogger was severely beaten and raped. Every black male who was in the park last night is a suspect. I need all of them.
What's going on with my son? Your son was involved in a rape in Central Park.
What? No,
Wait a minute. Wait a second.
They saw you rape the lady.
I didn't see a lady or hit anyone. I didn't see any lady.
Kevin.
I didn't see any lady.
I want to see my son right now. Right now.
Whatever they said I did, I didn't.
I know.
Zoning on the road.
Nothing these boys state matches the central facts of the crime. All we need is for one to tie this whole thing together.
These tapes are not as clean as the state would have you believe.
There is injustice happening here.
There is not one shred of evidence.
Imagine the frenzy of these teenagers. Ripping off her
They
clothes.
are innocent of these crimes.
Guilty.
They're doing us like this.
What other way they ever do us?
And I haven't looked back
I've been having these dreams.
since I
I
met
keep hearing these footsteps. And they come closer and closer.
Okay, Gail, that is the trailer. It's movie's based on what they call the Central Park Five. This is a true story. This happened in 1989 when some kids were playing in Central Park, and then around the same area they were playing, a white woman was found raped and assaulted near where those boys were playing, and then the boys were blamed for that particular crime. It's a very difficult.
It's a difficult watch. Wow, it is really hard hitting. It actually only debuted last night, so I haven't finished. I've sort of watched the first episode and a half, and it is very hard watching because it just heaps injustice upon prejudice, and there's no mention of the prejudice, but it's just there in the entire structure of what happens to these five boys. They're part of a gang of about 30 boys who ran into Central Park one night, and they were sort of raging around and harassing a cyclist here and there.
Yep.
And then things get significantly more serious when this woman is found, and the policeman in charge starts to thread together a story in her mind and that of her detectives that ends up with these young boys, all of them between the ages of 14, and only one of them was 16 at the time.
Yep.
So they were all underage, they were all interviewed without parents. Their parents were often people who couldn't get away from work or had to get, and so the kind of Ava DuVernay has done a brilliant job of this. She wrote it, she directed it, which sometimes can make things a bit indulgent. There's none of that here. It's hard hitting. It's actually quite difficult to watch, but it's really worth watching, and especially in the Donald Trump age, because he is the person who took out those full-page adverts in the newspapers.
Yep.
Spent $85,000 in 1989 of his own money. Then he was just an obnoxious millionaire rather than what he is now. But there you can see his own structural prejudice working through that. And as we see him now as president, it's a fascinating juxtaposition of where we are now.
Because the full page ads he took out at the time when this case was taking place, and remember, these boys are wrongfully accused because later on the real perpetrator came out, confessed at some point much later
2002
on.
came out, yeah.
But Donald Trump took out those full page ads saying bring back the death penalty, talking about these boys. And the two main boys who were accused in this particular case were 14 years old.
And remember, he took out those adverts before the court case because they were convicted in 1990. Took out. So I mean, the whole thing, it stinks, and it is a very, very clever way of understanding that, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement, the walking while black, the playing, all that stuff in a way that isn't rammed down your throat, but when you watch it, you can see the structural way in which this plays out, and it is terrifying.
But it's well directed, and the boys put in some really, really good performances.
Fantastic.
I mean, yeah, they really do. They're so convincing, and the characters that they play as well.
Brilliant as well, and also it's got a lot of well-known actors in it as well, and they all put in really good performances.
Yeah.
And Felicity Huffman, of course, is the lead police woman here, who sort of drives the charge against them. And in terms of her current court case with the whole college, it kind of adds another layer to this whole thing.
Does.
So it is a very interesting piece of streaming cinema, I guess we call it.
That's the first, in fact, that's the first thing I thought about when I saw about her current court case, actually. But she plays the lead detective in that one. Let's talk about Blue Will Smith in Aladdin. I don't know. I wasn't convinced, but your take, and the movie's done really, really well. I was one of those who was criticizing Will Smith coming up as Aladdin, and you know, they made him blue in the movie and so forth, but it seemed to have worked.
I have to say that because the original Aladdin role of the genie was written for Robin Williams, it does take you a couple of minutes to get used to Will Smith in it, but actually once he takes off, he does fly with this, and he holds this movie together. It's beautifully done. Guy Ritchie directs and co-writes, which is a bit weird, you know, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, but he's kind of updated the script. You know, Princess Jasmine no longer, eventually she doesn't have to marry a prince in order to become the Sultan, but she decides to anyway. But the fact is she's made the Sultan. They're little subtle changes. They've done nice stuff with it. Will Smith's funny. You know, he is funny. You forget how funny he is, you know, and he hasn't missed the box office. He needs the box office.
He needs the box office. He needs a hit. Listen, let's take a look at Will Smith now in the trailer for Aladdin. See if you like it.
I can make you rich. Rich enough to impress a princess.
What would I have to do?
There's a cave of wonders. Bring me the lamp.
O great one who summons me, I stand by my oath, loyalty to wishes 3.
I'm kidding. Watch this.
Watch out! You done wound me up. You ain't never had a friend like me.
Hey, can you make me a prince?
There is a lot of gray area in make me a prince. I could just make you a prince.
Oh, no.
Y'all see my palace?
You look like a prince on the outside, but I didn't change anything on the inside.
Showtime.
No, I'm in charge, okay? I say when it's time. Really?
All right, so there it is. It looks fun, though. That's the point. And you went to. I love the fact that you went to watch it with a diverse. You said you went with your family, but there was
my
diverse,
mother and my
range of
daughter
ages.
and my husband, and we actually all enjoyed it. Friday night, we all went, sat through it. It's good fun. It's pretty to look at. It's kind of fun to see it turned into real people. And Will Smith does hold it all together, because I think everybody likes Will Smith. I don't think there's anyone who doesn't like Will Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, is that you?
No, I'm just putting my hand up because I saw something on the roof. That's all. But it's a musical as well.
Yes.
How those performances?
Yes, great. You know what? There's that scene, if you remember the original movie from 1992, where the now sort of magical Aladdin arrives. And that sort of entrance scene where he, you know, all hail Prince Ali, is just incredible. It's like something out of a chocolate box, you know, and a lot of this does feel like that.
And it's very grand. It seems very grand, isn't it?
It's beautiful. It's full of bells and whistles and songs and romance. I thought the villain could have been a little bit more villainy, but it does mean that younger kids can go and see it.
All right, so Aladdin, you recommend family viewing for Aladdin? Do you think I should go?
Yes, definitely go. Take everyone and go.
Okay.
Leave your cynicism behind.
I don't know. But listen, the big thing is that also this weekend what's starting is King Kong? No,
yes,
Godzilla,
King of the Monsters.
King of the Monsters.
Yes, I'm not a big fan of
CGI movies.
No, it's not my sort of thing, but I know a colleague of mine's little boy has been waiting for this film a really long time, and she will be probably seeing it 7 times because he likes a monster movie.
Yeah,
so those who like a monster movie, here it comes.
Godzilla's at cinemas, and also you can catch Aladdin as well. All right, Gail, thank you so much as always, Gail Edmonds, City Press. We'll see what happens. We'll talk about Godzilla maybe next weekend. We'll have to force you to go and watch it. It's good.